Garcia, Don Brubaker has the night off. Blake Downs is now a convicted killer. The 23-year-old shot and killed 19-year-old Cohen Berm in April of 2022. 25 News Now reporter Trenton Whiting is following the trial and joins us live from Calhoun County.
A Calhoun County jury has found Blake Downs guilty for the murder of 19-year-old Cohen Berm. The jury deliberated for 5 hours before delivering the verdict. A few of Berm's childhood friends and his mom testified, explaining how life has been difficult since he was killed. His mother recalls that about a week before Cohen's murder, he told her he was saving his money to buy a plot of land to build a home because he wanted to marry his girlfriend and start a life there. His mother says today is a sad day, despite receiving her desired verdict. One of Downs' friends provided another example of his violent behavior following the decision. The sentencing phase begins tomorrow at 9 a.m., where Downs could face 5 to 99 years to life in prison. Reporting live from the Calhoun County Courthouse, Trenton Whiting, KAVU-TV, 25 News Now.
Trenton, thank you. This morning around 11:15 a.m., a vehicle crashed into the front of this local restaurant. The front of this establishment at 3810 North Navarro Street caved in after the collision. The Victoria Police Department says the driver was ready to place their car in the parking spot, but instead of pressing the brake, the accelerator was pushed. The Dodge then drove into the building. No one was hurt except for a small scratch on a girl's foot. Tropical storm Debbie tearing through the southeast and turning deadly. At least 5 people confirmed dead and are still seeing life-threatening rainfall.
Relentless rain, high winds, and life-threatening storm surge pummeling the southeast as Debbie swirls through the region. At least 5 people killed, including 2 children. A 13-year-old boy died after a tree fell onto this mobile home in Florida. Streets flooded in Brunswick, Georgia. More than 10 inches of rain estimated to have fallen already just north of Savannah.
In the best case scenario, we're going to get another 4 to 5 inches of rain on top of what we already had. The worst case scenario, we may have another up to 8 inches of rain. So unfortunately, I don't believe this storm is done with us yet.
9 tornadoes reported in Florida and South Carolina over the last 2 days.
We had absolutely no time to react. It was right on us. All we had time to do was just kind of look at each other and say, run.
Debbie made landfall as a Category 1 hurricane in the Big Bend of Florida's Gulf Coast Monday morning, dropping more than 16 inches of rain near Sarasota. Curtis Silver and his family running to the top floor of their home as water rushed in.
The water wasn't just coming in through the front door. It was coming up through the floorboards. It was coming in through the walls to the outside.
In Horseshoe Beach, near the eye wall, strong winds tearing up trees. In Charleston, South Carolina, the mayor saying pumps have been brought in and are ready, as well as high water rescue vehicles. The city is extremely vulnerable to flooding.
Debbie is expected to sit here and stall over the Georgia and South Carolina coastline, churning in ocean water along the shoreline and dumping heavy amounts of rain that could lead to historic flooding. Samara Theodore, ABC News, Savannah, Georgia.
And now let's take a look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis.
Well, thank you very much. Debbie is just about to get out over the Atlantic. It's going to strengthen, then roll into the Carolinas. We are a long way away from all of that activity because high pressure is going to be on top of us, and that's going to squeeze the atmosphere and get us to the first 100-degree reading of the season. We'll be talking about that coming up in just a few minutes. We'll toss it back to you, Karina.
A Texas family is presumed lost at sea in Alaska. The Coast Guard reports they got a call Saturday night about a boat taking off on the water coast near Omer. The boat was carrying 8 people. 4 others were rescued, but the family of 4 are missing.
We can confirm it was the Maynard family. Anytime we make a decision to suspend a search and rescue case is a very difficult one to make. Cases that are suspended, they're only suspended pending the development of new information. So if anything comes to light, any new information that we get, we're more than happy and willing to go out and continue our search. But our hearts are definitely with the families right now.
Missing are David and Mary Nayard of Troy, Texas, along with their 2 school-aged children. Over in San Antonio, 3 people injured after they used bathrooms with explosives hidden under the toilet seats. It happened last month at 2 car washes. Police say Paul Moses Bowie trapped the toilet seats with commercial fireworks designed to explode when pressure is applied. He is now facing a charge of arson with bodily injury. Security camera footage shows the suspect entering and leaving the bathrooms, then watching the bathroom door from the lobby and leaving after the explosions. Healthcare workers in Houston are upset over a hiring freeze. One worker says the past 2 weeks have been an absolute nightmare after leaving her job in California. She says everything was set and she was ready to work at Texas Children's Hospital until she got a call saying the job is being put on hold. Her attorney says she's not the only one being affected by a hiring freeze.
And they said, well, it has been going on for 2 months. And then I was like, I was offered the job in 2 months. So you were already aware. Why didn't you even tell me or inform me? So I was kind of like prepared. And they said, well, we didn't know it was getting that close or it was affecting your hiring.
The hospital did not respond to a request for comment. New breaking developments in the race for the White House. Vice President Kamala Harris selected Minnesota governor as her running mate.
Vice President Kamala Harris selecting Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate.
Would you be my running mate and let's get this thing on the road?
I would be honored, Madam Vice President.
The joy that you're bringing back to the country, the enthusiasm that's out there, it'll be a privilege to take this with you across the country.
The 60-year-old emerged as a favorite for some high-profile Democrats and labor unions. A source familiar with the process says that Harris was impressed in part with the governor's authenticity.
I'm not interviewing for anything. I'm just am who I am and put it out there.
Walz is a veteran and former congressman who represented a conservative-leaning rural district for 12 years. Prior to that, he was a high school football coach and teacher.
I don't know if every high school geography teacher expects to be in this position at some point. But it is very strange to be running on my treadmill and have people talking about the things that are there.
He's already proving to be an effective messenger. He was one of the first to refer to the top of the GOP ticket as weird, a talking point that has gained traction in recent weeks.
These guys are just weird. That's who they are. So it isn't much else. Don't give them the power.
With less than 100 days to go, Harris and Walz will hit the ground running, appearing at a rally in Philadelphia Tuesday evening and making several stops in battleground states throughout the week. Reporting in Washington, I'm Julia Benbrook.
The Ganado ISD teachers and staff were celebrated this morning with a send-off. The cheerleading team, the marching band, and a tractor made for a joyous event meant to show the community's appreciation for district educators. Superintendent Jonathan Shalmiski says the send-off is usually for the students, but this year he wanted to do something different for the teachers.
And I want to show them how much we appreciate them. In this day and age where it's hard to find teachers, we have some fantastic ones here in Ganado. And it's our job to grow them and harvest them and keep them here as long as we can.
The superintendent says Ganado ISD teachers were recently giving raises as part of the district's efforts to attract and retain talent. This year, Ganado ISD is also celebrating 125 years of educating students. So here is your viewer poll this evening. You can scan that QR code right there on your screen to vote. The question is, what is your biggest concern as your children go back to school? According to our results, it looks like safety and security takes the lead with 44% share of the vote. Thank you for voting. We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. And of course, I'm going to have an update on 25 News Now at 10. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. For now, stay with us. One county in New York enacts a face mask bill. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, the community's reaction. Also ahead, billions of dollars invested into America's power grid following the rise of extreme weather events. Elon Musk's social media platform X is suing a group of major advertisers over a reported boycott. The lawsuit, filed in a Texas federal court Tuesday, accuses the Global Alliance for Responsible Media of antitrust violations. The lawsuit claims the group organized to block billions of dollars of ad revenue over its concern about a change in brand safety standards since Musk acquired the platform. The influential ad industry group aims to help brands keep their ads from appearing alongside illegal or harmful content. The lawsuit seeks to prevent the group from making advertising recommendations about X. One New York county is making it legal for police to arrest people wearing masks. The controversial law could send people to jail for a year for covering their faces, but some are worried it won't be enforced fairly.
The Mask Transparency Act was introduced in response to anti-Semitic incidents that authorities said were often committed by people hiding their identity. Supporters claim the measure will help combat crimes and anti-Semitic incidents committed during protests by masked perpetrators. There are exemptions from the law, such as those wearing masks for health or religious reasons, but opponents, including the ACLU, argue police officers are neither health nor religious experts capable of determining who needs a face covering or not.
To be honest with you, I feel if you're not feeling well, you should put your mask on, right? I feel it's sort of not fair. But then again, shopkeepers want you to have the masks off.
The police are not stupid, and they know what's, they have an IQ, a good IQ. So they'll know what's right and what's wrong.
The pandemic is over. Why are you still wearing masks? You got to be hiding something. So it's unfortunate, but it has to be done.
Hours before the vote, Democratic lawmakers tried introducing emergency legislation to amend the bill, but their proposal was not on Monday night's agenda. They called the law flawed and dangerous by allowing police to stop and question any person in public who is wearing a mask, even if no crime is being committed.
The New York County law passed on party lines. Republican lawmakers voted for it. Democrats abstained. The U.S. Energy Department is pouring $2 billion into America's aging electrical grid. The funding will add more power capacity to make the grid more resilient against extreme weather. This news comes as about 150,000 customers are without power in the southeast as Tropical Storm Debbie lashes into Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. Upgrading and adding to America's aging electrical infrastructure is seen as critical as extreme weather continues to rise.
You bet. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, we are looking at the first 100-degree temperatures for the season coming up later this week. As today we started getting really warm. Looking at 97 right about now, but our high today did get up to 98. So, we're not that far away from triple digits. So we're going to be looking at 100-degree temperatures. And you know the drill. We've got to respect the heat because it can get you, and we have to be very cautious about who we live in the back seat of the car as well. Coming up, we'll be talking about what to expect for the next 7 days, and we'll take a look at Debbie as well. Well, good afternoon, everybody. We had one or two tiny little showers that popped up down there toward Calhoun County and one over there near Runge. And that's about it. Now it's blazing sunshine for the next 5 to 7 days as the heat bubble that was over the west is going to park itself right on top of Texas. Our winds have been very light. Not only, well, that adds to the heat, but also it adds to the pollution that's building up. I'll show you that in a moment. Right now, you see the winds diving down into the East Coast as Debbie pretty much is in control over there. This is what I was talking about. See all these gray counties all the way Austin, Waco, San Antonio, Houston down to Galveston. We have air pollution advisories because every day we create pollution. But generally, the sea breeze helps to stir it around and disperse it. Well, that's not happening right now because our winds are so light. Now, we talk about Debbie. For those of you tracking, here we are at 32.4 west and 80.8, I'm sorry, 32.1 north and 80.8 west, which is basically right on the beach. It is right on the beach at the border of South Carolina and Georgia, right about there. You see it. The tropical storm advisories continue all the way up to Wilmington, and now the storm is going to go out to sea for about half a day and then turn back up and go right up the eastern seaboard. It's not going over land, it's going over the land. So as a result of that, they can expect more tremendous showers in that area. Debbie is not over with just yet. You'd think it'd move on shore and fall apart. No, it's going to re-strengthen right about there. As you can see, the center of the storm get out there and suck up all that warm Atlantic water. So now places like South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, in fact, all the way up into New Jersey and New York State, they're likely to see 4 to 6 inches of rain all the way up here. So imagine the disruption that's going to cause out in that area, not only to people driving, but also to flight schedules and all that. So it's going to continue to be a problem. For us out here on the west, well, we're high and dry as the big dome has sort of expanded and will center itself on top of us. So the higher the pressure, the less chance that it will see any kind of rain coming through. Also, the hotter weather that we get. There you see Debbie going up the seaboard, expanding the heat wave over our region, and that's what's going to make it quite hot over the next few days. And of course, we did this last year. It's not as bad as last year, but it's bad enough. There you see all these counties are in the heat wave all the way down. And so not only will they, but we will be dealing with temperatures pushing triple digits. So sunny skies, a very simple forecast, getting up to 96 tomorrow in Port Lavaca, 98 out in Cuero, and that would include Gonzales as well. And then you see the 7-day forecast, and it goes up to 100, 101, 100, right on through the weekend. Any chance of rain at this point is almost hoping, because we're looking for about 7 days of very hot weather. That is your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. If you scan that with your phone, you can put Crossroads Today on your cell phone. We'll toss it back to Karina.
Thank you, Mac. And now here's Max Williams with your sports.
All right, thanks, Karina. Grenada football is ready to make a huge jump for the upcoming 2024 high school football season. I'll highlight the team coming up here in sports. All right, everyone. Yesterday, we highlighted the beginning of Texas high school football here in the Crossroads with the beginning of training camps for multiple teams. But with that being said, here in the Crossroads, we're not going to highlight 2A Division I teams this week. And we start today with the Ganado Indians. They come into this season as the preseason #1 team after losing in the state semifinals, the #1 team at the time in Timpson. That was a heartbreak loss because they were up in that game, but then 21 unanswered points from Timpson, and they lost that game. So Ganado's trying to make a huge step forward, and they're arriving. They made it to the state semifinals last season since 2009. They bring back a lot of veteran experience with senior quarterback Bryce Ullman, running back and DB Logan Burrs, and DB wide receiver Austin Pena. Also, the Indians have head coach Josh Irvin and a great assistant coach to help propel them for the huge season and maybe win it all this season. Now moving from the gridiron to the baseball mound, a couple weeks back here on 25 News Now, I covered the High Plains Shootout, where two local Victoria East stars and Ryan Steele and Kason Coley beating both Team Texas Red and Team Texas Navy. But Coley is now currently competing in the huge baseball showcase called the Area Code Games. That's held in Long Beach, California. This is a huge event, and Coley right now is trying to prepare this and then get ready for football season next Monday. He's a quarterback for Victoria East, so coming up, I'll try to get a little package for you guys coming up later in the week here on KVU TV 25 News Now. Now over to the majors. Two matchup between the Astros and the Rangers is again tonight at Globe Life Field. First pitch will be at 7:05 p.m. It was a packed house yesterday in Texas. It came down to the extra innings. Josh Smith walked it off for the Rangers. It's a tough one for the Astros. They got to rebuild tonight. Framber Valdez on the mound for the Astros. He has a 3.56 ERA and is 10-5 this season. Now over to the Olympic stage, U.S. men's basketball team. They beat Brazil earlier today, 122-87. The men's team, they won that game 33-21 in the first quarter, but Devin Booker had 18, Anthony Edwards had 17, LeBron had 12 points, and Team USA, they have not lost any games in the Olympics so far. Now they got to play Serbia's Nikola Jokic on Thursday. If they win that game, they play in the gold medal game coming up. They lose, they have to play in the bronze medal match in that one. Other news, NBA legend Charles Barkley said he's now going to get out of retirement and he's going to join back on TNT Sports. This was reaffirmed after the commitment by the company after Discovery. And again, other teams are trying to get those broadcast rights. So he's going to be back on Inside the NBA, and again, a deal that's awesome to hear for this team. He said in a statement Tuesday, Barkley walked back the same, saying he would continue working with TNT Sports for the remainder of his contract. That's all here in sports. Karina, back to you.
Thank you, Max. And we're back in a moment with a sneak peek of Iowa's iconic butter cow.
Are you going to go see the animals?
Well, you're about to take a sneak peek and you're about to see this year's Iowa State Fair Butter Cow. It takes 3 people working 40 hours to complete the Butter Cow. During the first 3 days, they make the cow's general shape and muscle structure. That's what you see right here in this video. And then they go in on those details, adding veins and texture. Sarah Pratt is the lead butter sculptor. She said it's a family activity that she gets to do every year with her 2 daughters.
Even the veins?
It is a delight. If you're going to be known for something, it might as well be something fun and whimsical and amazing that everyone loves. So, while I may be more of an introvert, I just love talking about it. I love being able to represent that icon of Iowa.
The Butter Cow is a staple to the Iowa State Fair, and a lot of work goes into that sculpture. I mean, it takes 40 hours and 3 people. That's some talent.
I don't know how they do it to keep, well, it's refrigerated where they are.
Yeah.
So it's not like going to melt on them. But you know what? That's utterly ridiculous.
Oh my goodness. You pulled it on.
Sorry, I pulled it on. Don's not here, so somebody had to do it.
My question is, what do you do with all that butter once the state? Do they freeze it? Do they melt it back down? What's the...
There's a lot of toast in the
Those are the
morning.
questions here that need answers.
Those are big, big questions.
Yeah.
I'm sure they put it to good use. You can slice it up and have it for breakfast. Anyway, folks, for us, we are looking at the heat wave rolling back into the crossroads. Temperatures by Thursday, Friday will be at 3 digits, triple digits. Now, maybe Thursday we'll get to 99, but it'll be hot enough, and it's who cares if we get to 100 or not. But we are looking at triple digits somewhere between now and the weekend. You know the drill. Just take it easy as best you can.
That's right. Thank you, Mac, and thank you, Max, and thank you for joining us. We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10.